So you're in your 20s and you want to buy your first rental property. That's awesome. But then you go on TikTok or YouTube and you see 23-year-olds talking about how they just bought their 5th apartment complex using OPM, a little known tax hack, and their mindset. Let's bring this back down to earth, because while most of that stuff might make for good views, it's not usually how real people get started. I bought a rental in my 20s and I want to share 3 tips that made a real difference. Here's what we're covering today: how partnerships can help you get started, why your credit score and income are more important than the granite countertops in your dream duplex, and the quickest way to get into real estate if all you have is your own money. Let's dive in. First, let's talk about ownership, or more specifically, partial ownership. There's this idea that unless you own the whole thing, it doesn't count, and that's nonsense. I bought my first rental property with 2 friends. We each brought some money, we each took on some responsibility, and we split the profits. So no, I didn't walk away owning the Empire State Building, but I owned a percentage of a cash flowing asset. And that first deal got me way more experience than just sitting on the sidelines until I could buy a property myself. The next property we're looking at will involve even more investors, and that's by design. Real estate is expensive. Prices have gone up, rates have gone up, and unless you've got an inheritance from a rich aunt or an IPO that went public last week, you're probably going to need to pool funds together if you're in your 20s and want to buy a rental. So let go of the idea that you have to do all of it on your own, because owning 30% of a solid deal is way better than owning 100% of a dream you never bought. Now on to number 2, your credit and your income. Let me tell you what I didn't have in college: a credit card. You know what that meant? No credit history except for my student loans that I hadn't even begun paying yet. Most lenders aren't exactly standing in line to lend to someone with that profile, because lenders want to know 2 things: can you pay them back, and will you pay them back? Your income shows that you can, and your credit score shows that there's a very good chance you will. Now maybe you're thinking, but wait, what if the rental income covers the mortgage? That's great, and in some cases, yes, lenders will count projected rental income as part of your qualifying income. But here's the catch: most of the time they want to see that you already have a job, already have a credit history, and already look like someone who's financially stable. Otherwise, they'll most likely want to charge you a higher interest rate, which will make it even harder to find a property where the numbers make sense. So before you fall down the bigger pockets rabbit hole, get your own finances right. Start by opening a credit card and using it responsibly. Pay it off and build that score. In addition, you'll want a steady income stream, or if that's not realistic yet, partner with someone who has it. You can be the hustle while someone else provides the money, but you will have to work for it. And on to number 3, house hacking. Here's the thing: no one dreams of living next to their tenants. I get it, it's not glamorous. You're not popping champagne on a rooftop patio in your early retirement. Instead, you're unclogging a drain at 8 p.m. on a Thursday. But let me tell you what house hacking does get you: low living costs, a foot in the door, and potentially massive long-term upside. Let's break it down. You buy a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. You live in one unit, you rent out the others. Because you're living in the property, you qualify for owner-occupied financing. That means a lower down payment, sometimes as low as 3% down. Or if you're a veteran, you may qualify for a VA loan at 0% down. That low barrier to entry can be the difference between sitting on the sidelines and getting in the game. And if you pick the right property, the rental income from the other units can cover most, if not all, of your mortgage. That means you're building equity while paying almost nothing to live there. It's not sexy, but it's powerful. And here's a bonus: you'll learn more about managing tenants, maintenance, and cash flow in that first year of house hacking than most people learn from reading 10 books or watching 100 videos, even if they're really good videos from a channel you should totally subscribe to. So let's wrap this up. Partnerships let you start sooner and spread the risk. Don't be afraid to own part of a deal. Build your credit and stabilize your income. Lenders care about trust and track record. And finally, house hacking is your not so secret weapon. It's not flashy, but it can work. If you're in your 20s and want to get into real estate, focus on what actually works. The goal isn't to look rich, it's to build wealth. If you're serious about building a plan around real estate, reach out to talk with a financial planner who actually understands this space. All right, I'll see you next time.